Jamb Past Questions and Answers Economics 2022 Prep. Subscribe to IDC Learning Center YouTube channel.
Hello, you're welcome to IDC Learning Center YouTube channel. My name is Mark Okafor. In today's video, I will be answering past Jamb questions in economics. For those of you preparing to take economics in Jamb, this is for you. Let's look at the first question here. By advertising, a monopolistic competitive firm tries to shift its, is it A, supply curve to the right, supply curve to the left, demand curve to the right, demand curve to the left? Now the right answer is D. By advertising, a monopolistic competitive firm tries to shift its demand curve to the right. Now, I want you to know that a monopolistic competitive firm or even other imperfect competitive firms advertise their products. So it is aimed at increasing their demand, which is shift in demand curve to the right, and that was why I picked C. Question 2. Given that y equal to c plus 1 and c equal to by, where b equal to 0.8, what is a multiplier? The formula for calculating multiplier k is 1 divided by 1 minus b. The b is the marginal propensity to consume. If you solve this question, the answer is going to be 5. What do I mean? I want you to look at this.
5 is the answer.
Look at the formula
Given
for
that
calculating multiplier, which is 1 over
and c is by,
1 minus
where
b.
b is 0.8.
Once you know this formula, that's k
is
equal to 1 divided by 1 minus b.
which is
Where
1
you have
over
b,
1
just
minus
replace this b
0.8,
with
where b is the
0.8.
marginal
It will give you the
propensity
next
to
one, which is
consume,
1
MPC.
divided by 1 minus
Therefore, the
0.8.
multiplier
1
k
minus
is equal
0.8
to
will
1
give you
over
0.2,
0.2,
which is the final
which gives us
step.
5.
Now,
as the
1 divided
answer.
by 0.2 will give you 5, and that was what I got. Okay, question 3. The role of the central bank in the economic development of Nigeria is to what? A. Give financial and technical advice to customers. B. Give short and medium-term loans to the public. C. Maintain a stable price system. D. Use checks and bank drafts to facilitate business transactions. Well, the Central Bank of Nigeria maintain should I say the right answer here should be a stable price system. Yes, that's what they do. The next question. Question 4. The primary function of a non-bank financial institution is to do what? The right answer is to mobilize savings for investment, which is B. Okay, we have other options: to receive deposit from bank, grant loans to banks, manage investment portfolios for government. No, the right answer is to mobilize savings for investment. That is the primary function of non-bank financial institutions. Okay, question 5. At the marginal point of the total product curve of a firm, marginal revenue is always 0. Now, any further increase in the level of output will lead to negative marginal revenue. So that's why the answer is E, 0, not other options we have there. Question 6. In an open economy, the GNP is measured as what? Now, this GNP stands for Gross National Product, and is measured as C plus I plus G plus bracket S minus M. So the right answer is going to be A. Now, in an open economy, national income is calculated by incorporating export and import, and that's what we have in this first formula here. C in the formula represent the consumption expenditure, the I represent the investment expenditure, and the G represent the government expenditure, while the X minus M is a net export. Alright, that's export minus import value. So the right answer, take note of this, is A. Question 7. Now, question 7 says, the diagram below represents the short-run position of a monopolist. The profit maximizing output is what? Okay? The profit maximizing output should be the Q2 in the diagram. Locate the Q2. Yes, I'm going to pick Q2, which is C as my answer. Alright. At Q2, the marginal cost is equal to the marginal revenue. That was why I picked it. Okay? Question 8. The capital market provides business firms with the avenue to do what? Capital market is a long-term financial market where funds can be obtained for long-term investment. It is a market where long-term funds can be obtained. So I'm going to pick obtain long-term funds as my answer, which is B. Question 9. Which financial institution is charged with the formulation of monetary policies in Nigeria? The answer is obviously the Central Bank of Nigeria. It's not the Lagos Stock Exchange, neither is it the Nigerian Deposit Insurance Corporation or the Abuja Commodity Exchange. So the right answer is CBN. Question 10. GDP differs from GNP because GDP is what? Now, you know that GDP means gross domestic product. Now, it's gross domestic product because fixed capital used up in the process of production, which is depreciation, is inclusive. So the answer has to be C. Okay? Because GDP is inclusive of depreciation. Take note of that. Question 11. The distinction between perfect competition and monopolistic competition is that the latter is characterized by what? The product differentiation makes monopolistic competition different from perfect competition. So which among these question options do you think is the right option? The right option is C, product differentiation. Question 12. The downstream activities of oil companies in Nigeria involve A, prospecting and exploration, B, management of spillage and pollution, C, refining and distribution, D, offshore drilling. Okay, downstream activities include all activities that take place from the point of production of crude oil to the point of sales. So, upstream involves production and exploration. Okay, so the answer is refining and distribution. So I gave you a little time to think, but I'm sure you picked C as well. So let's see. That's the right answer. Question 13. The movement of goods and services from the producers to the consumers is referred to as, is it consumption, the circular flow, external trade, or the distribution chain? The right answer would be the distribution chain. The distribution chain is the movement of goods and services from the producers to the consumers. Full distribution chain is as follows. We have the producers, wholesalers, retailers, and the final consumers. Take note of that. So this is my answer. Question 14. The purpose of conducting a census is to enable a country to do what? A. Determine the optimum level of population, plan our growth and development, determine the growth rate of population, plan our capital inflow and outflow. Okay. The right answer here should be to plan our growth and development. Plan our growth here, B. Why I picked B? I want you to know that there are advantages and purposes for carrying out population census, one of which is to enable a country to plan our growth and development. This option I picked B is the main purpose for carrying out population census. Okay, so question 15. A major cause of the slow pace of industrialization in Nigeria is inadequate what? Is it communal labor, land mass, raw materials, or D, skilled labor? I'll pick skilled labor. Reason being that inadequate skilled labor is one of the major causes of the slow pace in industrialization in Nigeria. This is witnessed in the poor entrepreneurial skill in the country. So that's the right answer. Maximum wage legislation seeks to A, fix wages above the equilibrium wage rate, B, deter employers from exploiting their employees, C, ensure an upper limit to the wages payable, D, set wages below the equilibrium wage rate. The right answer here, okay, before I say that, I want you to know that the maximum wage legislation, they set the wage rate below the equilibrium wage rate. The resultant effect may be reduction in the number of labor force that are willing to work, but the right option has to be set wages below the equilibrium wage rate. Question 17. The marketing of agricultural commodities in Nigeria is hampered by, is it the abolition of marketing boards, the existence of commodity exchange, the existence of farmers associations, lack of adequate storage facilities? Lack of adequate storage facilities, that is the right answer. Import duty concessions on the industrial inputs directly benefit, is it the manufacturers, external sector, commercial sector, or consumers? The right answer is the manufacturers. Question 19. The labor force in Nigeria falls between the ages of what? Is it 18 and 30, 18 and 55, 18 and 60, 18 and 45? Of course, the right answer is C, 18 and 60. Question 20. Government involvement in agricultural business in Nigeria is most manifested in the A, formation of farmers' cooperative societies, B, procurement and distribution of fertilizers, C, establishment of credit guarantee schemes for small-scale farmers, D, establishment of farm settlements in each state of the Federation. The right answer is establishment of, credit guarantee schemes for small-scale farmers, yes. Establishment of credit guarantee schemes for small-scale farmers. Take note of that. That is the right answer. Okay? So, question 21. The difference between birth and death rate of a given population is referred to as the what? A, mortality rate, B, natural growth rate, C, linear growth rate, D, fertility rate. The right answer is natural growth rate, which is B. 22. Fiscal policy is a government's plan to control aggregate demand by manipulating what? The structure of production and employment, revenue and expenditure, taste and preference of consumers, the demand and supply of money. The right answer is revenue and expenditure. Fiscal policy is the use of revenue, taxation, and government expenditure by the government to control economic activities. This is used to control level of aggregate demand in an economy. So the answer is what I've picked, which is B. Question 23. A country is said to have absolute advantage when she A, can produce more of any good with fewer resources, B, can sell to other countries without buying from them, C, has a higher opportunity cost in the production of a good, and D, has a lower opportunity cost in the production of a good. Well, a country can be said of a country if it can produce more of any goods in consideration with fewer resources. That is, the country has cost advantage in the production of the two commodities considered. So, The right answer has to be A. Question 24. The European Union was formed to A. Promote free trade within member nations, B. Finance development projects in member nations, C. Promote economic integration in non-member countries, D. Assist countries to achieve their economic goals. Now the right answer is to promote free trade within member nations, and I'm going to pick A as my right answer. Question 25. If budget deficits are financed by borrowing, the crowding out effect can be offset by an increase in A. Savings, B. Interest rates, C. Exchange rates, and D. Government expenditures. The right answer is exchange rate. Crowding out means the possibility that an increase in one form of spending may cause another form to fall. So the crowding out effect of financing deficit budget by borrowing can be addressed by increasing exchange rate in order to maintain favorable balance of payment in the economy. So that was why I picked that as my answer. Question 26. When the importation of a country is limited to a definite quantity, the trade control means used is known as what? A. Quotas, B. Exchange control, D. Tax relief, D. Devaluation. So the right answer here is A. Quotas. Quota is when the importation of a commodity is limited to definite or definite quantity here. So that's the right answer. Question 27. The excess of aggregate expenditure over full employment level of output is referred to as A. Deflationary gap, recessionary gap, inflationary gap, or GNP gap. So the right answer is inflationary gap. So inflationary gap is the process of aggregate expenditure over full employment level of output. That's the right answer. Question 28. The tax levied on goods and services at each state of production is what? VAT. Okay? VAT is value added tax, and it is placed on each process or stage of goods and services production. So that's the right answer. Question 29. The number of shareholders in a private limited liability company ranges from 2 to 20, 2 to 7, 2 to 50, 2 to 3. The right answer is 2 to 50, which is C. Question 30. A major reason for having national development plans is to A. Involve people in national programs, B. Ensure efficient use of available resources, C. Make government spend more on production, D. Ensure that more citizens are involved in planning. The answer is to ensure efficient use of available resources. So I'm going to pick B as my answer. Question 31. The difference between payment and receipt for visible trade is called A. Current balance, B. Bilateral trade, C. Balance of payment, D. Balance of trade. Now the right answer is balance of trade, which is D. Question 32. One of the causes of the present high rate of inflation in Nigeria is A. Exchange rate appreciation, increased budget surplus, C. Increasing factor cost, and D. High capacity utilization. The answer is increasing factor cost. Increasing factor cost, which is also the increase in prices of inputs of production, called cost push inflation, is one of the causes of high inflation rate in Nigeria. Question 33. The final stage in the production process of any commodity involves its movement from the A. Retailer to the consumer, retailer to the wholesaler, wholesaler to retailer, producer to the wholesaler. The right answer is retailer to the consumer, which is A. Production is only complete when what was produced gets to the final consumers. This can be from retailer to the consumer, which is A. Question 34. A change in demand for a normal good means what? A change in demand for a normal good means A. The demand changes as price changes. A change in the price elasticity. A movement along a given demand curve. A shift in the demand curve. So the right answer is a shift in the demand curve. Change in demand means total shift in demand curve, which can be to the right increase or to the left decrease. This is as a result of change in other factors that affect demand other than the price of the commodity. So that's why I picked D as my answer. Question 35. In the diagram below, ST, locate ST, is the budget line while I, and III represent in indifferent curves. A rational consumer will choose to consume at point what? A rational consumer will choose to consume at point L, which is B. That is where the budget line is tangential to the higher indifference curve too. Okay, so we can call that point the equilibrium point. Question 36. In order to increase revenue, the seller of a commodity whose demand is fairly elastic is advised to A. Retain price, B. Increase price, C. Reduce price, D. Reduce output. Now the right answer is to reduce price. Since the demand for its goods is fairly elastic, reduction in price means that more commodity will be demanded. The increase in sales will also mean increase in its revenue, so that's the right answer. Question 37. In any set of data, media represents the A. Mid position when the values are arranged in ascending or descending order. B. Value that is most representative of the data. C. Difference between the highest and the lowest values when arranged in ascending order. C. Mid position when the values are arranged randomly. The right answer is mid position when the values are arranged in ascending or descending order. When the value, okay, so that's A. Question 38. The table below shows the combinations to beans and rice that can be purchased by a consumer. The opportunity cost of moving from K to L is what? Is it 20 units of beans, which is A, B, 2 units of rice, C, 7 units of rice, D, 5 units of rice? The right answer is 2 units of rice. Okay? The opportunity cost of moving from K to L is the sacrifice of 2 units of rice in order to get extra 5 units of beans. So, that's why I picked B. Question 39. One of the assumptions of ordinal utility in consumer behavior is that A. Consumers are irrational. B. Utility can only be ranked. C. Marginal utility rises continuously. D. Utility is measurable. The right answer here is that utility can only be ranked. The ordinalist assumed ranking of utility and that utility is not measurable. The answer is B. The final question for today, which is question 40, says a large standard deviation is an indication of A. The difference between the highest and the lowest values. B. A wide difference between the mean and the mode. C. The size of the sample. D. A wide spread around the mean. Now, the right answer will be a wide spread around the mean, which is D.